Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. You're almost done with this course. It went by pretty quickly, at least it did for me. Um, some of you may have had a different experience, but I'd like to talk a little bit about weeks 5 and 6, and I'm going to talk a little bit about your final paper and a couple of other housekeeping items. Please listen to this recording in its entirety, and please pay attention to the details, close attention to the details in this recording. If you need to repeat any part, you can always print a transcript of this recording, or you can just listen to it again. Probably don't want to hear my voice for another 10 minutes, but anyway. So a couple things about weeks 5 and 6. I love your journal entries. We're going to go over the journal rubric shortly. So your journal entries should be a little bit more than a paragraph. The purpose is for you to reflect on your clinical experiences, discuss for yourself anything that you may have learned, any opportunities for improvement that you may have identified. What was it like to be with a preceptor in that particular role? Was it comfortable? Was it uncomfortable? Did you love it? Did you not love it? These are examples of things that should be in your reflective journals. Your reflective journals are really an exercise for you to look back and learn about as a result of your experience with a preceptor who's in a different. Um, a lot of you didn't include the table in your paper. That's fine. I looked at the instructions. It's really not clear. So please don't stress out about that. Most of you have corrected that situation. I did send you an email that said, please plug this into your paper and just send it back to me. I didn't take any points off for it because, again, the instructions aren't very clear. We have a curriculum meeting next Monday, and I'm going to recommend that we change the verbiage on that assignment because the table is going to be included in your final paper and in your capstone project paper. It's an important table. Let's see, some APA notes. Please do a title page for the rest of your assignments. So your root cause analysis is going to be APA format. It's going to have a title page and a reference page. Many of you have received feedback. Please make sure to incorporate the feedback that I've given you into these final two assignments that you have. Title pages are just APA is pretty boring. There's some boldface, maybe there's some centering, but nothing spectacular like this beautiful font. I appreciate the efforts in making things pretty and visually appealing. But again, it's not exciting. It's tedious and somewhat boring, actually. References. Your references are flush left on the first line, and then you indent. It's exactly the opposite of what we've been taught. So flush left on the first line, and then the following lines are indented. Even though the sample paper in your syllabus has a title called Introduction, in true APA writing, we don't use that word. We simply put the title of the paper, and then you write your introduction. And just plain old double spacing. No 1.5s, no nothing like that. If you have a table, which you did in your previous paper, the lines in the table are single spaced, so that's an exception. Usually, also, if you have quotes, the journal that you're writing for might ask you to do that in single spacing. The use of quotes at this point in the course and in your bachelor's degree career should be very much the exception. You all are highly intelligent and very capable of paraphrasing whatever you see in the written word. So please use your paraphrasing skills instead of quotes. If you do use quotes, you must cite the page number from those that you've used the quotes from the journal or wherever you got the quotes from. But you won't have to do that because you're not going to use quotes, right? Let's see. The introduction I just talked about, you can see what I'm talking about on page 48 and 49 in your APA manual. It talks about properly formatting an introduction. All right. So week 7 and 8. So at this point in courses that I have taught for Roberts, I find that many students enter what I call panic mode. There's 2 weeks left in the course. There's absolutely no wiggle room for deadlines at this point, unless you are in the ICU and you need to have a couple day extension. I'm being a little facetious, but kind of not. Grading, there's 20 of you, and grading sometimes takes a very long time for me. Each of you has experienced my feedback on your papers. I actually read your papers and make those suggestions. So to read 20 papers usually takes me about 6 hours, 6 or 7 hours. And it's not necessarily in one time block. Grades are due very shortly after the course ends. So that's my weekend and my Monday after you submit your final papers or after the course ends. So please make sure that that you're finishing your work on time. I did send an email. Several of you emailed me back in a panic. Was it me? Was it me? Please, at this point, you should know me. I'm not one of those school marm slap your knuckles with a ruler types, as you have all learned at this point. But for the last 2 weeks of the course, I really do need you to observe the deadlines. Time management becomes a real challenge in these last 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, you have a major paper due that's going to become part of your capstone project. My suggestion is that you definitely should have started on that paper now. Interestingly, many of the assignments that we've had in the course are part of that paper. And so really all you have to do is cut and paste all that stuff and put it together in a way that flows. This is the way that many online bachelor's programs works. It's the way that mine worked for Capella University. I had to do a little bit of doctoring, but not too much really. If time management becomes an issue, I personally experienced that as a student. And here are some things that I personally did in order to get caught up and produce quality work and actually have an enriching learning experience, not just the drudgery of handing in an assignment. Number 1, take a half day off from work. Your employer should be able to accommodate that. The organization you work for is not going to crumble if you're not there. Number 2, take a full day off of work. Reference what I just said. Number 3, put your school time on your calendar. For example, if you work a 5-day work week, plug in 2 hours a night for 3 nights a week, schedule it on your calendar. And I know that this is for many a pipe dream. You've got kids, you've got responsibilities. But these are just suggestions that I was able to incorporate that really helped me. So put that on your calendar. And number 4, always, for the rest of your coursework for Roberts, always put assignments and due dates on your calendar in red. If you have Outlook, you can highlight all of that stuff in red. Let's see. That's that. Week 7. We are in week 7 right now. You're almost done with the course. This week, you have a journal. I'm going to show you I'm going to go over some rubrics here shortly, but I do want you to really do a really thorough reflection. This is your final reflection. This is your 3rd one. So please do a nice thorough reflection. Take some time, close the doors. Don't listen to music. Just take some time and think about the experience that you've had with your preceptor. Your root cause analysis paper is a very important exercise because some of you may have already done this type of activity, but this is a widely used tool in the industry that helps us identify what happened and how we can prevent it from happening again. When I was traveling, there was a certain ER that I worked in. It was always ridiculously busy. People had to sit in the waiting room for hours, and somebody died in the waiting room, waiting for treatment in the main part of the ER. And so that was most definitely a root cause analysis. So these are things that you can look back in your experience. Did somebody fall? Was there a med error? We had a Tylenol error where somebody was getting 5,000 milligrams a day, 5 grams of Tylenol a day instead of the 3-gram maximum. No harm was done, but we needed to find out why that happened. For those of you getting ready to implement an electronic medical record, the root cause of that was within that medical record. So be aware of that. So that's week 7. Week 8, your final paper. I want you to please follow the rubric for that paper. I grade by the rubric. I can't stress this enough. I am seeing from time to time that evidence that maybe the rubrics might not have been looked at prior to turning in an assignment. So we couldn't have made it easier for you. There's a sample paper in the back. There's a rubric, just go by the rubric. Your final paper is due on August 22nd. APA and mechanics, writing mechanics, are 25% of that grade. And so these are points that none of you should lose. You're all very good writers. I'm enjoying this cohort's writing very much. If you have uncertainties about your writing, there's a writing center at Roberts. Also, Grammarly has an AI function that will give you suggestions about how to reword things and make them grammatically correct. Please do not use Grammarly for APA. Please use the APA manual for APA. I know you've got these online resources, the Purdue OWL. I have found mistakes with the Purdue OWL in the past. I do not recommend using it. However, Roberts does, so it's your choice. But I find the manual to be the best source because it is the source. I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend that you use the writing tools that I've just talked about if you're uncertain about your writing. Please do not make this a last-minute project. Start your paper today. Let's see. Grammarly has an AI detection function. I have Grammarly. I pay for Grammarly for the premium package. And I do utilize that AI detection function on major works. So, and the final paper, I will be running papers through the AI. So it's okay to use AI. AI is a beautiful thing. It's incredible. It's not okay to use generative AI on your writing projects for coursework because that's not you producing your ideas. That is artificial intelligence producing your ideas. So please make your projects your own and in your own words. Certainly utilize AI tools whenever you can. I use ChatGPT every single day. I love it, but I'm not writing papers. So please, as you know, I'm here for you. I want you to get a really good grade in this course, and I want you to have an enriching experience that you're going to carry forward throughout your program and be excited about getting your bachelor's degree. I know that it can be a little bit stressful, but getting your bachelor's degree, it truly is an exciting thing to do. So don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am here for you. I want your success. And you can certainly count on feedback from me as I have demonstrated throughout the course. Happy writing, happy Tuesday, and happy reading.